What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you my Piglin bartering farm, and if you're familiar with the Project Bedrock server, you might be really familiar with this farm as I built it several months ago, and I've been running it ever since. This farm is an incredibly fast, efficient, and reliable Piglin bartering farm which puts out over 80,000 items per hour. You'll get a ton of different items, and you'll get them very quickly. How many different items, you may ask? You're going to get all 18 items in front of me here, unless you're counting the books and the boots, then in which you're going to get 21 different items. And what I mean by that is the books and the boots are going to put out 3 different levels of Soul Sneak each, so you're going to have a chance of getting Soul Sneak 1, 2, or 3 in each one. We're also going to have a pretty large sorting system. Now this sorting system can entirely be customized by you, and you could decide what blocks you want to keep and what blocks you don't want to keep from it. However, there is a ton of different slots for the items that you want to keep. That way you can make sure that you're getting all of the materials that you want and not keeping the stuff that you don't want. Now first and foremost, all of our gold that does not get picked up by any of the piglins is going to go down into the system, be captured inside of these 3 sorters, and sent back to be recirculated back up to the machine. That way we do not lose any gold. Then we're also going to have all of our blackstone here that's going to be captured, followed by our gravel, our soul sand, obsidian, crying obsidian. We have all of our quartz, nether bricks, ender pearls, blast charges, leather, string, of iron nuggets, arrows, and all of the non-stackable items which are going to end up in here. Now you are going to end up having some items come through if you don't have enough sorting systems devoted to that particular item. So here we have a bunch of iron nuggets. So if I was using this inside of the real world, instead of having another thing of arrows here, I would probably have a third thing of iron nuggets, and that would pretty much capture most all of the iron nuggets that are going to come through here. Now keep in mind, hoppers are not perfect, and no matter how many sorting systems that you have pulling a specific item out of the ice stream, you're probably still going to have some coming through here and landing inside of your non-sortables. These can either be disposed of or manually sorted, but this is pretty much due to hoppers not being perfect in Bedrock. As far as what's in front of us, I would only really keep the Soul Speed 3, maybe some fire resistance potions, and then I would put a disposal system on the bottom of these 3 chests in order to empty this into a pit of lava, fire, or a cactus. Now this farm was intentionally built like this, that way you can have plenty of room to expand all of these chests as far down as you would like, and it would also give you a central hall where you can just walk down through here and grab all of your materials out of the chest to make it as easy as possible. Now the way that you're going to use this farm is you're going to take all of your gold and put it inside of this chest up here. This chest is unloaded at double hopper speed, so it is going to consume your gold rather quickly. I would recommend having a large amount of it. On the Project Bedrock server, I have this chest hooked in directly to a nether portal to where all of my gold comes through from the overworld, making its way through a nether portal, and then it's going to be fed directly into this chest. That way it's maintenance free, and all I have to do is hit a button. However, if you want, you can expand this to add more storage to it, bring up your dropper tower as much as you would like, and have an absolute ton of storage for your gold. However, a double chest of gold gets you a ton of different items, so it's unlikely that you're going to need any more storage. However, if 80,000 items per hour is not fast enough for you, you can always add a ton more piglins to this since we don't have entity cramming on Bedrock. You can even add some more droppers if they're not getting gold fast enough, and realistically make this farm put out whatever number of items you would like since there is no entity cramming. The only thing that is going to hold you back is going to be able to sort these fast enough, so you might end up finding yourself having to modify or extend the sorting system here. However, keep in mind I am sorting out every single item that the farm has to offer here, and typically inside of a real world application I probably would not be saving stuff like the arrows, the string, the fire charges, the leather, and stuff of that sort because, well, I already have abundance of that from other farms. So all of that could be replaced for more spots for gravel, blackstone, soul sand, etc. There is a bug that is in 1.19.70 and current versions of the game, and this bug is a good bug. It's not one that really hinders you like most of the bugs on Bedrock Edition. What this bug does is it's going to basically take all of the time that you have to wait, and these guys are going to instantly trade. Now you're really not going to benefit aside from saving time, because you're still going to get the same amount of items per piece of gold that you put into the farm. But what you want to do, if you want to use this bug, is you want to place down a observer clock, just like that, which has 2 observers facing each other. Then you're going to place down a piston here to make it go up and down, and a chest here. You can also use a gold block if you would like. However, every time you move this, it's going to anger the piglins just like it would with you accessing a chest or opening it up, and that's basically going to make it to where these guys are instantly going to trade, and there's going to be no delay, so it's going to save you a bunch of time. Now once you are done with this farm, all you have to do is shut this lever off, and that's going to shut the farm off. However, you might notice that there's still a good bit of items down there. You can either let those despawn if you have enough items. However, I like to keep every bit of items that I get, So we have this button here, and that's basically going to flush out the systems, drop those items down, and shoot them across the sorting system to be sorted out. And if you're curious about this bug, how much time it actually saves you, you can see whenever I flip this on, they instantly start dropping items rather than having a timeout period. Now before you build this farm, you are going to want to mark out an area to build it. I do suggest making a pretty large room. However, you can put this in any biome that you would like. Just make sure that it is closed off to where you're not going to have any gas shooting fireballs or anything at you whenever you're trying to build this. The dimensions of this farm is going to be 20 blocks wide here, and then it's going to be 27 blocks wide this way, and then it's going to be 12 blocks tall. So make sure that you have enough room to put the farm in. However, I do suggest making a little bit bigger of a room. That way you're not building this inside of a really tight confined area. I do also recommend to chunk align the center of this farm here. All of the mechanical workings here, you want these to be inside of a single chunk without any of the redstone inside of the center part here crossing any chunk borders. It would also be ideal if these were not crossing any chunk borders either. However, if you have to prioritize, I would definitely make sure that this one here is inside of a chunk border. That way you don't run into any reliability issues. What do you guys say? Enough jibber jabber. Everything that you're going to need in order to build this farm is down inside of the description below. While you're down there, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. And consider subscribing if you have not already done so. Thanks. Now that you have all of your material gathered up and your chunk border marked out here, we're going to start at the very corner of your chunk border. We're going to count to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to go forward by 1. Place down a solid block here, a temporary block here, and a solid block here. Remove that temporary block. 2 more solid blocks, a temporary block. 2 more solid blocks, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to place down 4 solid blocks here. And this is what you should have. Then you're going to grab you a redstone comparator, place down a comparator here, left click on that to put it into subtract mode. Place down a repeater here on a default 1 tick delay. Grab some redstone dust, and you're going to route your redstone dust all the way down and around here. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a dropper here, remove that temporary block. Then you're going to take 8 more droppers and tower up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have 9 droppers in total. Then you are going to grab you some redstone torches and solid blocks. Place down a redstone torch here, a solid block here, redstone torch, solid block. Place redstone torches and solid blocks alternating all the way until you get to the top. Next you're going to grab you some hoppers and come around to the very inside here to this lowest dropper. We're going to crouch and place 3 hoppers going into the bottom of that dropper. Then we're going to turn to the left. And we're going to place down an additional 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then turn to the right. We're going to place down an additional 3. 1, 2, 3. Then turn to the left. We're going to place in 3 going into the side of those 3 just like this. So this is what you should have, and you should basically have these 3 hoppers, all 3 going into this hopper line, which is going to flow all the way into that bottom dropper there. Next, we're going to go back to our dropper elevator, and we're going to find this first hopper here. We're going to count 4 hoppers, 1, 2, 3, 4. On this 4th hopper, we're going to place down a temporary block here, 2 solid blocks coming out the left of it, and then 1 on top of it. On this left solid block, we're going to place down a solid block here. Then we're going to take our redstone dust and place 3 pieces of redstone dust here. We can go ahead and grab a sticky piston, place down a sticky piston here facing this direction, and some of your terracotta, or a block that does not get stuck to by a slime block, and place down a block here. And then we're going to build this out by 1 here, and then we're going to fill 3 blocks in here. Next we can put a slime block here. Go to the very back of this piston here. We're going to place down a piece of glass here, and a piece of glass to the right hand side of it. Next you can grab you some more glazed terracotta blocks. We're going to place down 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here to make kind of a little tunnel for that slime block. Leave this open. Then we're going to take a regular piston, place down a regular piston here facing this direction, a temporary block here with a regular piston facing this direction. Remove that temporary block. Then on the back side of this piston here, you're going to place down a piece of glass here, a sticky piston directly underneath it facing this direction, and then you want to go down here and place down a observer facing straight up with the output facing straight down, just like this. And then on top of this observer, you can place down 2 solid blocks, 1 here, and place down a piece of glass here. On this piece of glass, place down a piece of redstone dust here, a redstone repeater here. Leave this on the standard 1 tick delay. Then you're going to place down 2 more redstone repeaters. Both of these need to be on a 4 tick delay. Now if we come around to this side here, we can place down a solid block down here with a piece of redstone dust on top of it, and a solid block on top. Now if we come around to the back side here, we're going to go down to this glass block here. If you go catty corner from it to this block, we can place down a solid block here. We're going to place down some redstone dust here, here, and here. On this piece of redstone dust here, we are going to place an observer facing into it. So go to this side, and we can select that hitbox and place down an observer just like that. And we should have the face facing that piece of redstone dust. Next, you're going to find this glass block here with the redstone on top of it. You're going to grab you some solid blocks, place down a solid block here, and then 3 more solid blocks going to the left, so 4 total. Then you're going to place down a piece of redstone dust here, and 2 pieces of redstone dust here. Grab you a redstone repeater, and we're going to place that here on a 4-tick delay. Then we're going to grab some more solid blocks. We're going to place down a solid block on the top of it, and 1 to the left of it, just like that. On this side of the solid block, we're going to take a regular piston, place down a regular piston here, a redstone block here, a temporary block here, and then a solid block here. Remove these 2 temporary blocks, take another regular piston, and face a regular piston this direction. Then we are going to go on the top here, place down a temporary block here, a hopper going into that temporary block, remove that temporary block, then we're going to place down another hopper going into that hopper, so they're both feeding into each other just like that. Go around and grab you a redstone comparator. And on this piston here, we're going to have a comparator facing out this direction, and a comparator facing out this direction. Take you some redstone dust and place redstone dust there, and redstone dust here. And that's going to complete your etho hopper clock, which is going to be responsible for timing and running this entire thing. Next, we're going to get started placing in all of the controls that are going to run the farm. So we're going to go to the back side of the farm, and we're going to find this block. This block, we're going to take a stone button and place a stone button here. Grab you a temporary block, place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary block, and then on this block, you're going to place down a lever here. Go to the very back side of this. You're going to place down a redstone torch, a solid block on top. Then looking at it from the lever, you're going to place down a redstone torch on the right hand side. Another block on top, another torch on top, with another block on top of the torch. Then on the very back side of this block here, we're going to place down a second solid block. Go to the left hand side of this block and place down a sticky piston here, and then place down a observer facing this direction. Then we can take a temporary block and place a temporary block here. Place an observer facing this direction, so they are kind of diagonal but facing towards one another. Remove this temporary block, place a solid block directly behind that observer, and then you can take your dropper, and that's where your dropper is going to live, directly below that block here. You can then grab you some hoppers, and we're going to place in a hopper on this side here, going into that dropper, a hopper facing into that hopper, and a hopper facing into that dropper. So they should be configured just like that to give you double hopper speed. Then we can grab a chest out of our inventory, place you a double chest here, one here and one here. Then you are going to grab you another hopper, place in 3 hoppers facing into this chest here. Then you're going to place in 2 hoppers coming this direction. Make sure that they end directly over top of that dropper. On top of this block here, I like to just grab a regular torch and place down a regular torch on top of here. That way we don't have any bad guys spawning up here. You can also place another torch over here just to keep things lit up. Oh yeah, you don't want to forget a torch here. That way it can power that piston. Next, we're going to get started placing in the Piglin cell and all of the parts that actuate it. So what we want to do is go down to this piston here. We're going to place down 2 pieces of glass block here and here, a piece of redstone dust here. Grab you some redstone repeaters and place down a repeater here and here. Both of these need to be on a 4-tick delay. Then on this piece of redstone dust, we're going to place down a observer here, monitoring that piece. Then we're going to take a solid block and place down a solid block here and here, a temporary block here and a solid block here. Remove that temporary block. Then grab you a sticky piston, place down a sticky piston here, with a temporary block down here, and a lightning rod on top of it. Remove that temporary block. Then you're going to go up to these 2 blocks. We're going to place down a piece of redstone dust here, with a redstone repeater here, facing into this block on a 4-tick delay. Next, to set up the Piglin pin, we can place down a iron bar on this block here. Then we're going to take 4 composters. We're going to place one here, one here, one here, and one here. Now you might notice that this iron bar does not connect to the composters. This is intentional, and it needs to be like this to keep items from getting stuck. Next, you want to grab you a few more observers. Come to the back of the farm here. We're going to go down to this piece of glass block again with the redstone on top. We're going to take an observer and we're going to face an observer into that piece of redstone dust, just like that. That way this piston will be powered whenever it's supposed to be. Then we're going to come up here to the etho hopper clock. We're going to take a solid block and place on this hopper here, directly underneath that observer. Place some redstone dust on top of it, and place a redstone torch on this side of that piston there. Then inside of this etho hopper clock, you're going to take 20 items that stack to 64, and place those inside of there. It does not matter what items these are as long as they stack to 64 and as long as you have 20 inside of that hopper. So let's go ahead and test this thing before we get this thing fully enclosed. All of the redstone to make this part of the farm work is completely done, so it should be fully functional. What you want to do to test it is go to this dropper here, place in a few items here just to see if they get shot out like they should, and then we're going to throw this lever on. They should immediately get shot out, so we can pick those up. Don't worry if they go everywhere because they're going to be confined inside of a glass tube. You should also see this piston periodically extending and then pulling back in, just like it's doing. You should also see these two going back and forth, just like so. And then we're also going to have that slime block that's going to push out. You're also going to want to make sure that the timing is correct. So these should go back and forth, and then right before this one pushes over, that piston should be able to extend. And it kind of happens briefly after, almost at the same time. But this is the animation that you should have, along with this up here moving at the proper time, which is just after this block here is pushed back into the home position. As long as you follow the tutorial to a T, you should not have any timing issues. Next, we can go ahead and shut this off, and we can wait for the farm to stop functioning, which is going to take approximately about 5 seconds. And then after it's done functioning, we can then go over and hit this button here, and we should have the farm cycle one more time, just like so. And that is going to be our cycle button, so whenever you hit that, it is going to cycle the farm again and get all of those items out. That way there's none that are remaining inside of there and despawn. Now, one thing that I will tell you on this, whenever you hit that cycle button, this does cycle it 2 times, so you'll see this actually cycle twice whenever you hit that. And that is by design, that way it flushes everything out. However, whenever it's running in normal mode, it only cycles it 1 time every revolution. So whenever you hit that button, don't be alarmed, it is meant to cycle twice. Now let's go ahead and get this piglin cage built. You want to come to the discharge port of your farm here, and we're going to place down a piece of glass here, a piece of glass on top, 2 pieces coming over and 1 directly underneath here. This is where our ice stream is going to be coming out. Then we're going to want to go to this glass block here, place down a piece of glass there, a piece of glass there. Go inside of here, and do not place a piece of glass inside of there or else it's going to break the farm. Place 1 piece here and 1 piece here. And then on this side here, on top of this observer, you're going to place down another piece. Then we're going to place in glass here, bring this all the way around, just like so. And then we're going to bring this up again, all the way around, just like so. And then on top of this lightning rod, you're going to place down a piece of glass there. That way it is entirely enclosed. So now that we have our piglin cage done, we need to get our ice streams in. So what we're going to do is grab us some packed ice. And we're going to start here. We're going to bring this out by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place down a piece of glazed terracotta here and a temporary block here. Then you can take a ender chest and place down a ender chest here. It doesn't matter which way it's facing. Remove that temporary block. Then you're going to extend this out by 20. Once you get to the number 20 block, you're going to place down another piece of glazed terracotta here. Then you're going to extend this to the right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you're going to place down another piece of glazed terracotta here, and then bring your ice all the way this way until it runs into the farm here, leaving a 1 block gap. You're going to place down your soul sand here, and then you can grab you some flint and steel and light that soul sand on fire, just like so. Don't worry, it's not going to catch any of your farm on fire. Next, we're going to get started on the slime block launchers, which are going to be responsible for launching the items all the way around this track. So right now we basically have the items where they'll be launched out there. Hit this chest. This chest is going to align them. That way they can go over the sorting system and be pulled in by the hoppers. However, what we need to do is make it to where it pushes the items from here down that way. And then we need another one there and another one there. So in order to make one, we need to first grab our glass. We're going to bring our glass all the way across like this. Then we're going to take 2 pieces of glass here and here. We're going to take a string and put a piece of string down on this block here. We're going to take an observer and place an observer here watching that piece of string, just like so. Then we are going to take some solid blocks and place down a solid block here and here. Grab you a sticky piston and place a sticky piston here facing this direction. Place a slime block here, Grab a piece of glazed terracotta and place a piece of glazed terracotta there. Grab you a redstone repeater, place it on this block facing this direction on a 4-tick delay. Redstone dust here and redstone dust here. Now whenever you hit this, it's going to wait a moment and then it's going to push that slime block out, which is going to bounce the items all the way across. Next you want to come to this corner of the farm and go to this piece of glazed terracotta here. We're going to extend this out by 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to grab some temporary blocks, place down a temporary block here, and 2 of them here and here. Then you're going to take 3 sticky pistons, place down a sticky piston here, a sticky piston here, and a sticky piston here. Then you can take 2 more pieces of glazed terracotta and place 1 here and 1 here. Then you can remove these temporary blocks. Then you want to go all the way around to this other side. We're going to place down a solid block here, a temporary block here, place down a solid block here, and a solid block here. Remove this temporary block. Then you're going to bring this block out an additional 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to bring this out an additional 2, 1 and 2. We are then going to have a piece of string here with an observer here, observing that piece of string. Redstone dust here, here, and here. Then we're going to take 2 of the redstone repeaters and place them here and here on a 4-tick delay each. A redstone repeater here on a 4-tick delay. Then you're going to take redstone dust and place it here, here, and here, which is going to attach all of this. Now the only thing left that we need to do is take an observer, and we're going to place an observer on the face of this sticky piston here, and you want that observer facing straight up, where it's looking upwards with that output side down towards that piston. Now we need to grab a slime block, so we can take a slime block and place a slime block down right here. And then if you would like, you can enclose this with some glazed terracotta too. I like doing that way I don't have to ever worry about any of the items bouncing out of here. Now whenever that string is triggered, you should be able to throw an item, and it's going to get launched off of there just like so, and that should return back to its home. This is ours built from the future. I noticed something that happened while editing the footage, however I did not exactly catch it whenever I was recording the tutorial. And that was that I actually took one of these blocks and placed it down there. You can see whenever I hit the string that it actually pushes that out of place like so, and this is not supposed to happen. So whenever you're placing these blocks in, you can place a block here and a block here. Make sure that you leave this one open. However, I have had issues to where this would actually break from time to time because it would get stuck to the slime block. To keep that from happening, you could just place a piece of obsidian here or another unmovable block, and that's going to keep that from ever going out of place. Now back to the tutorial. Next you want to come to this corner here, and we're going to start placing in the launcher for this side. So we want to go to this piece of glazed terracotta. We're going to build this out by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Place down a observer here facing that direction towards the ice stream. A piece of string here. A piece of glazed terracotta here. We can grab a slime block from down here. Place down a slime block here. Go to the back of it. Place down 2 solid blocks here and here, with a sticky piston facing towards that slime block. Then we can take our redstone dust and place redstone dust here and here, with a redstone repeater facing towards that piston on a 4-tick delay. Now whenever we hit that string, it's going to launch that slime block just like so. Then we can place down a temporary block right here, and place down a ender chest right here. You do have to use a ender chest because they are non-movable by the slime blocks. Next we're going to test this out and make sure that the launchers are all working all the way around and that they are aligning properly. So what you want to do is go to this very first launcher and place you a item all the way up against that ender chest, just like so. Then we are going to hit that string, and you should see that item go all the way around. Make sure that you use an item that you don't mind getting destroyed because it is going to go inside of that fire, or you can temporarily extinguish that fire. Next we're going to get started placing in all of our sorting systems. However, I did go a little hopper crazy and I accidentally added 1 too many hoppers here. So what we need to do is take this and move it forward by 1. That way it's directly underneath the ice stream here. So we can go ahead and remove these hoppers here. And we're going to place down a hopper going into that one, 3 hoppers going into this one, and then we're going to place 3 hoppers here, 1, 2, and 3. So it should look just like that. Now that we got those hoppers straightened out, let's go ahead and get our sorting systems installed. So you want to go to this hopper here, place down a solid block on that hopper. Then we're going to build this out by 2. We're going to build it down by 1, a temporary block here, solid block here, and remove that temporary block. This is going to make up our sorting system. Now we just need to take a redstone repeater, place that here, leave that on the standard 1-tick delay, a redstone torch here, a redstone comparator here, redstone dust here, here, and here, and that is all there is to it, to the sorting system. Now we just need to continue this all the way down another 19 times until we get to the end. So if we grab this block here, you want to start with this one first until you get all the way to the very end. Then you're going to take and place your repeaters in. That way you don't have to worry about putting your repeaters in whenever they are all boxed in. Extend this down. Grab this block and extend it down as well. Place you some redstone torches all the way down the line. Take these 3 blocks and extend all the way down the side. Place in all of your comparators. And cover everything with redstone dust. And then you can place hoppers going all the way down the side here. Make sure that they are facing into that ice. Directly underneath each one of these hoppers, you're going to want to place a hopper facing straight down. At the very end, you can place down a temporary block underneath that hopper, and then a chest here and a chest here. Remove that temporary block. Then you're going to want to extend these chests all the way down until you run into your other hoppers. And then you're going to place hoppers going into the side of all of these chests all the way down. You're going to do the exact same thing on this side, except you're going to start with your hoppers, and you're going to start on this block here. Then you're going to place them all the way going left until you run into the very end. You do not want a hopper underneath that ender chest. Then you are going to place in your hoppers directly underneath these hoppers. Then you can start building your sorting systems. You're going to go to this hopper, place in a block here, and a block here. A temporary block here, a permanent block here, and here. Remove this temporary block, and then you can place a solid block here. Grab you a redstone repeater and face it into that block there. A redstone torch there. Redstone dust here, here, and here with a comparator facing this direction. Just like so. Then you're going to start by extending this all the way over. You're going to bring this until you are 3 hoppers from the end. So leave these 3 open without any of these blocks here. Then you can take your repeaters and place your repeaters all the way down the line here, facing this direction. All of these need to be on a 1-tick delay. Bring this block all the way to the end. Redstone torches all the way down. Bring this block all the way to the end. And then you're going to drag these 3 blocks all the way to the end as well. Redstone dust on the 3 blocks going up. And redstone comparators all the way down. Because the very end is mainly the non-stackable items, you don't want this to sort anything. You want everything that was not picked up to go into here, and then whenever it is overflowing, you want everything to be burned. That way it doesn't lag out your world. Now to set up the chest, go to your last hopper, place down a temporary block here, chest here, remove that temporary block. Bring your chest all the way across until they get to the very end of your hoppers. And now that they are at the very end of the hoppers, we can grab some more hoppers, and we're going to go down this entire line, placing the hoppers facing into the chest. I like to place item frames all along here to show whatever is inside of the chest directly below it. I'll leave that up to you, and you can also organize this however you want because everybody's going to want to save something different. However, if you do extend this down further than what it is, you might want to consider moving the item frames down to where maybe at the lower chest level. That way you can see whenever you're down there, instead of having to squint and look way up above you. And apparently I did not stop at the last piece of ice like I said to do, so make sure that you're carrying this entire thing all the way over, just like so. And you're also going to want to bring this over by 1 as well. There we go. Next you're going to take 144 items that stack to 64, and that's going to give you 4 blockers for every sorting system. For this demonstration, I'm just going to use 64, but what you're going to do is grab you some blocks that stack to 64, and you're going to rename these to whatever you like. I like to name them blocker, that way you know exactly what they are. And this is basically going to keep the sorting systems from breaking. The only way that it would ever break is if it had another blocker block go into it that is specifically a dirt block that is named exactly the same. So you want to make 144 of these. That will give you 4 blocker blocks for every one of your sorting systems. Placing them inside of your sorting systems, you're going to go to the very top hopper on each one of these, and you're going to grab your blockers. You're going to place in 4 just like this, leaving this first slot empty. You're going to do this to every one of your sorting systems. Now let's set up the sorting systems. It's very important that these 3 here are going to be set to gold. So what you want to do is we're going to take 1 piece of gold each, and we're going to place a piece of gold in every one of these 3 sorting systems here. And that is because these are going to recirculate automatically back to the farm with all of the gold. So you want to start your sorting materials from the 4th one in and then go this way. So for example, if you wanted to sort some blackstone inside of this chest, you would put the blackstone in this one. And then I would highly recommend having a lot more blackstone. You want basically a lot more sorting systems for the materials that come out of the farm a lot. For example, the blackstone and the gravel and a few other items have a lot higher chance of being traded than some of the others like leather. So you're going to want a lot more of the blackstone and the gravel versus something like leather. You can see the percentages on the wiki. I will link that down inside the description. That way you're able to see that. And then you can adjust it and set it up accordingly however you would like to. If you're wanting a basic setup, then I would recommend just pausing it here and setting it up like this, and then you can always adjust it as necessary. Keep in mind these last three chests here, here, and here are not sorted chests. These are all unsorted and they don't have a sorting system behind them. So whatever items do not get sorted out are either going to go into these three hoppers and into the chest or into the fire if these are full. As far as the sorting system goes, there is an absolute ton of videos on the Impulse SV sorting system on YouTube, so make sure that you check those out if you're still unsure as to how to set these up. That way you can get it all set up the way that you like. Now to get these piglins in here, what I would recommend to get these piglins in is grabbing you some glass. You're also going to want to grab you a piston. And you're also going to want to remove these 3 blocks here. And you're going to place a piece of glass here and here. Make sure that these are level with that bar, just like that. Then you are going to build this out by 1 on each side. Place down a temporary block, another piece of glass here. That way you have kind of a little opening here. Then you're going to build this up high enough to where it's not interfering with anything else. Just like so. And this is where you're going to load all of your piglins in. So what you want to do is have maybe a track here, or what I like to do is just have a spawning platform up top or go all the way up to the nether roof. Just make sure that you put some powdered snow or something to break their fall, that way they don't die. But you want it inside of the tube where they're falling, that way they don't land in it and actually freeze to death. If you want to use a rail, then you want to have a setup kind of like this. But if you wanted a drop tube, you would just have a tube going all the way up with a trapdoor or something there. I basically like to make a little hallway to where they can run through, just like this. That way they are forced to run through it. Place a trapdoor here, and then have them spawn on the other side. And then you can basically have this closed. And whenever you have one chasing you, you can run through here, turn around real fast and open up the trapdoor. And if everything goes according to plan, sometimes it doesn't, then they will run across thinking that they can run through that trapdoor. And with it being open, they're just going to fall down into the hole. This seems to be the best method in my opinion, or you can also use minecarts to bring them in if you would like. Whatever way you want, you just need to get some piglins inside of this little chute here, and make sure that there is no babies, and make sure that they do not die. It is also very important that you make sure that you name tag each one of these guys. You can either name tag them or let them have some boots or something, that way they become a persistent mob and do not despawn. Once you get your piglins inside of there and make sure that there's absolutely no babies and they are all name tagged, what you want to do is grab you 3 temporary blocks and place 3 temporary blocks here. Remove these 2 temporary blocks and place you 2 pistons here and here facing in towards those piglins. Next you're going to want to grab 2 levers. So grab you some levers. We are going to extend this first one first, and then we're going to extend the second one second, and then they should be into position. Now because you used regular pistons, you can go ahead and remove these, and that glass block is going to stay where it's at. And then you can remove this piece of glass and place it right there. And now all of your piglins are inside of the cage. Now you can go ahead and clean up the area and remove all of this that you no longer need. Now the only thing left to do is fill this chest absolutely full of gold, that way they have plenty to trade with. For this tutorial I'm just going to replace these 2 chests which are full of gold, and then those are just going to fill up the entire machine, and then we can turn this on and give it a test. So we'll turn that on and it's going to start dispensing, and because I only have a few piglins inside of there, it's going to basically drop gold because, well, I did not put enough in there. However, you're going to have about 30 to 35 piglins inside of here. If they're dropping gold, you're going to want to put even more piglins inside of there. And then you want to turn the lever on and give this thing a test. So as you can see, we have all of these items that are going to be being dropped and being pushed down the item stream here. Now, what I did forget to do is replace this piece of glass with a composter. And that's basically going to make that iron bar to where it's not going to hold on to any items. So you definitely want to make sure you have the 4 composters in there. That's going to allow all of your items to drop down. And let me grab my lever. And then they're going to be shot around. and sorted out by the sorting system. So let's go ahead and turn this off and make sure that our priming system works. So whenever they get done trading, they're going to finish inspecting the gold. It's not like you haven't seen it before, buddy. You don't have to sit there and stare at it that long. You know it's genuine Minecraft gold. And once the farm is done cycling, they're still trading, but that's just because they're picking up the gold that's kind of meandering around there. But we can hit that, and we should have all of those items get dispensed, and then go around the sorting system just like so. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you get a ton of use out of this farm for a long time to come. I've been running this farm for a very long time on the Project Bedrock server, and it has never broken on me, aside from a update that Mojang made where I had to make a slight fix. However, because I did not release a tutorial then, this farm is good to go as it is built, as long as Mojang does not change anything silly again. If you feel like the video deserved a rating, then drop a like on your way out, as it really does help out the channel and it helps my content reach new people. If you have yet to subscribe, make sure that you subscribe, that way you do not miss any of the future farms like this. I do apologize for this being a slightly longer tutorial, however it is a pretty technical build and you want to make sure that it is explained properly, that way you do not miss any blocks and have to rebuild the whole thing. I did recently open up a new public Discord, so if you have any interest in joining our public Discord, then go ahead and follow the links down inside the description. All of the support is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!